tonight on KGW News.
Oh, there's a storm!
A blizzard in the mountains waylays even the most determined skiers.
You can see this thing's completely buried.
It's snowing in the city tonight, and there's more winter weather on the way later this week.
Plus, an apology from Boeing, a mother's terrifying tale, and another company under the microscope. The latest in the Alaska 1282 investigation. And later,
so hard to believe how something like this could even happen.
a family told their relative had died only to learn months later he was still alive. Happening now, it is the first snowfall of the season in the Portland area. This is a look at flakes falling in the West Hills tonight. And yes, it is definitely sticking in some spots. We have team coverage tonight from East County to the West Hills and the very latest with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. But first, to a closer look at conditions on the ground with Alma McCarty along Skyline Boulevard. Alma, tell us what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, David, we are up here in the West Hills. We wanted to get to a higher elevation to check out the snowfall at this point. Like you said, it is the first snowfall of the season of the year here in Portland. And really within the last couple of minutes, and I really do mean couple of minutes, it started snowing again. There was more of a wintry mix earlier this evening within the last 20 minutes or so. However, we did see some of those larger snowflakes falling around 9:30, 9:45. We'll get to that in a minute, but I did want to show you what the conditions look like here. You can see that this snow, like you said, is sticking and it's blowing around at this point, but a lot of it has been weighing down trees, weighing down branches, and so there have been some on the roads that we could tell when we were driving up to this area. Again, the snow is pretty thick, it is pretty wet, and so that is just something that drivers like this gentleman right here should probably know about as you are going through this evening. But really, in some areas even, it does appear that it's getting slushier and it is starting to melt. But I want to take you back, like I said, to earlier this evening at the start of our snow adventure. Check out this video from around 9:30, 9:45. We got off 26 at the Sylvan exit, and as we climbed the elevation, you could notice the snow sticking more to the ground. And really, we saw big snowflakes that were falling from the sky, all of this blanketing the road and the sidewalk, grass and trees, really accumulating there for a while. We didn't see any immediate issues that were out on the roads in terms of driver slowdowns or even icy patches at this point. Again, the snow was thick and it was slushy, but it began to taper off around 10:15-ish this evening. And from where we are standing, it is starting to snow again, but it's a lot less heavy than it once was. Now, whether or not this is going to stick around, that's not a question for me. That is a question for Matt Zaffino. Hopefully he can clear up what to expect in the morning. David, back to you.
Yeah, Alma McCarty along Skyline tonight. Stay safe, Alma. Let's check in with Matt now. Matt, how much snow do you think we're going to see over the next few hours?
You know, it's going to taper off once we go to the overnight hours. This is a quick little burst, and this is what it looked like just about 9:15 in downtown Portland. I mean, it was coming down. You can see in the bright lights here how hard it was falling here. Now, we didn't pick up as much downtown as Alma did up in the hills there. And I'm going to show you Seaside right now, too, because they had what looked like a quick half an inch or an inch of snow, even out at the beach. Great picture there from Jody McAllister. Appreciate you sending that one in. You can watch this area of low pressure and this snow evolve. We're going to come back to the radar here as it moved across the area. First, we had those showers today. Then you see the center of low pressure go right south of Portland. It's right in here. Now, this is that next batch of snow that Alma is experiencing as it's crossing over the West Hills. So that's going to move on through. That may drop a quick half an inch or an inch. And then there's some showers coming in behind that. The temperatures may actually go up now that we've seen this area of low pressure kind of move on through. And the winds tell the story. Look at the west winds at Salem and in Corvallis, because it's all going around that circulation center, but no wind at the Portland airport right now. The northwest winds on the backside of that. Temperatures responding too, but the wind gusts 41 miles an hour at McMinnville. Salem had a gust of 40 miles an hour earlier, so it was really windy and down the valley, but just getting rain there. Our temperatures are all in the mid-30s here, 33 in Happy Valley. We dropped to 35 in downtown. Now we're back up to 38. 38 at Astoria, 39 at Tillamook, and 45 in Corvallis. So again, a very limited snow band that moved on through. Now here's what it looks like on the satellite imagery. There it goes right across the southern part of the Portland area. Pretty good location for getting this quick blast of snow. Here's what our high resolution models are showing for the overnight hours. Maybe another 1/10 of an inch, half an inch as we go to the early morning hours, but I think that's about all we're going to see. This is not going to be a big snowstorm for us. So up in the hills, maybe as much as 3 inches, and you'll have still snow lying around in the morning, but for downtown, the big highways, probably not an issue. Standing water from that heavy rain, more of an issue than the snow as far as the roads go on I-5 in Portland, for instance. But that Arctic air arrives Friday night. That's the next system. That may be a bigger deal than what we saw tonight. In fact, it probably will be. We'll talk about the potential for snow or ice as we begin the holiday weekend. David?
Yeah, we're just getting started. Thank you, Matt. All right, let's head out to the mouth of the Columbia River Gorge now, and Catherine Cook in Troutdale with a look at conditions there and the potential impact on people who may have nowhere to go tonight. Catherine.
David, tonight we have a rain-snow mix here in Troutdale. Mostly rain, and any snow we're seeing right now is not sticking, but it is cold. We talk about being prepared for storms like this, having enough food and supplies. But for folks without a roof over their head, they're really counting on emergency systems having those winter shelters open and ready for them. Unfortunately, many will have to wait a little longer for them to open their doors. But tonight, we found some folks who knew exactly where to go. Tuesday night in southeast Portland, and the line outside Portland Central Church of the Nazarene is dozens deep. Everyone here anxious to get in out of the cold.
I don't know what I would do. I would be out there freezing. I'd be out there cold. I'd be out there wet. I'd be out there hoping that my tent doesn't fall down on top of me.
Chris and other guests are grateful for the church's partnership with Union Gospel Mission. Every night from November through March, they open this winter shelter for those who need a place to sleep.
They know they're coming into warmth, a sandwich, a bottle of water.
Sarah Chapman is outreach coordinator here. She says on nights like this, guests fill this place to capacity.
I think the hardest part of that is that we have to turn people away when we get to 45. And usually at that point we hear, where can we go? And it's very hard to say because we're one of the only ones open no matter the weather.
Even now, as a winter storm creeps in, most shelters are still closed. The reason? Weather conditions have not yet met their thresholds for opening. In Multnomah County, those thresholds include temperatures 25 degrees or below, at least an inch of snow, or overnight temps below 32 with an inch of driving rain. Ian Watt knows how frustrating that wait can be.
It's an absolute nightmare out there.
He was homeless for 10 years. Now he's in recovery through Union Gospel Mission and volunteers to help others find hope, especially on nights like this.
For me, it's a blessing because, I have gratitude for not having to be there anymore, but to be able to reach out to them and do the same thing or help out other people in the same spot that I used to be in, it means a lot to me.
Back live in Troutdale, I spoke with Multnomah County officials tonight. They tell me they're monitoring the weather forecasts and predict they'll likely reach that threshold for opening their emergency shelters sometime at the end of this week into the weekend. They said they did expand their street outreach today, going out, handing out warming supplies and letting people who are living on the streets know where they can go once those shelters open. David?
Catherine Cook in Troutdale tonight. Thank you, Catherine. Stay warm out there. Okay, check out what it looked like on Mount Hood earlier today. The snow and wind were so strong, the ski resorts didn't even open. Despite it being an actual blizzard, we actually ran into people that came up hoping to hit the slopes and then found themselves stuck.
We went up yesterday. It was a great day in the morning. A ton of snow up there. We were going to go this morning. And then we looked right before heading up, and everything's canceled, shut down. So
just walking around is pretty tough, and obviously we got some boards under the car trying to get out. So yeah, just be careful.
There you go. If you have to head over the passes, make sure to have your chains with you, know how to put them on before you go. Hey, if you see winter weather in your area, we want to hear about it. You can text us tips and photos at the number on your screen, and stay with KGW for continuing coverage on air, online, and our streaming app, KGW+. Meanwhile, we are continuing to follow the developments in the investigation into Alaska 1282 and the door plug that blew off the Boeing 737 MAX 9 Friday evening. Boeing CEO telling staff today they are acknowledging what they call a mistake and calling for full transparency. Now, those MAX 9s remain grounded nationwide tonight, with United and Alaska, the two U.S. carriers that operate them, canceling some 250 flights on Tuesday. That's as every one of the MAX 9s is in the process of being inspected. Today, the FAA said Boeing has to first provide updated instructions for the people doing those inspections before they can be cleared. It adds safety, not speed, will determine when the fleet can return to service. In a safety meeting with employees today, Boeing CEO said, quote, "I've got kids, I've got grandkids, and so do you. This stuff matters. Every detail matters." But a former Boeing whistleblower who testified to Congress about the two deadly MAX 8 crashes told NBC he fears Boeing's culture hasn't changed.
If things don't change, it's going to be a major tragedy, and it's going to be horrible for families.
Meanwhile, the Seattle Times today spoke with the mom of the teen who was sitting in the window seat just ahead of where that hole suddenly opened up. His shirt and jacket were sucked out, and she grabbed him and held on tight. The mother, who wanted to be identified by her middle name, Faye, told the Seattle Times in part, "I was in go mode. Of course I was terrified, but I'm a mother, and that terror does not occur to you when you're looking at your child next to a hole in a plane. It's about, I got to get my kid out of here immediately." Who can blame her for that? By the way, there is another company name you'll be hearing as this investigation continues. It is Spirit Aerosystems. They do work for Boeing, and in this case, they installed the door plugs in the MAX 9. The company also has a history of manufacturing problems. We'll keep you posted as those updates come in. You are watching KGW News. Straight ahead at 11, a disturbing mix-up. How the medical examiner's office incorrectly identified the body of a deceased man and then months later told his family he was actually still alive. Plus, the Hillsborough Hops hoping for a boost, the new appeal tonight to keep the team going.